range of motion and flexibility by decreasing muscle tension and increasing neuromuscular efficiency. Give the gift of health this year, the gift of flexibility, with a $39 gift certificate from their newest PNF stretching experience. Call MRS Physical Therapy in their Cranberry or Bridgewater offices at 724-728-7550 for more information.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Welcome to the Best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, a weekly segment dedicated to putting the focus on the amazing things and the amazing people behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romai to introduce today's program.
Welcome to the Best of Beaver County radio show on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. I'm Mike Romai, and on the Best of Beaver County, we bring in people who are inspiring, people who are innovators, business people from Beaver County, and we're honored to have with us this morning Dr. Marcus Platts. He's a chiropractor, and this isn't your first rodeo here. You were on the air with Eddie not too long ago, right?
Yep, just a few weeks ago.
All right.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Dr. Marcus Platts.
So I grew up in Beaver County, and I'm happy to be back and not only living here, but also get the practice and serve the communities here in Beaver County. I married for 3 years now, and we have a little boy. Keeps us very busy, and we have a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah, that's the short notes of it all.
Yeah.
You grew up in Beaver County. You were telling me earlier that you lived in Patterson for a little while.
Well, I currently live in Patterson, but I mostly grew up in Ohioville. Mm-hmm. And specifically a little neighborhood in Ohioville, Meadowbrook. I'm very thankful for that that time as a child. Yeah,
and you went to Western Beaver High
Absolutely,
School?
Yep.
All the school districts. What was that like for you? You said you graduated in 2008?
Yep, 2008. I am so thankful for Western Beaver. The small school district, we were small, but we were mighty. And not only in our education, sports, and everything we did, we were very proud. So I'm thankful for that the school district out there.
Yeah, so there you got Beaver, and then you've got Blackhawk on the other side of you, Rolling Acres Golf Course in the middle somewhere.
You'll find me there quite often.
Is that right?
Yeah, I love Rolling
you're a
Acres.
golfer?
Yes, I am.
So what was your school life like? I know we were talking, and we broadcast from the Fry Transportation Studios, and you say you know DJ Fry very well.
I do. So ironically, DJ also grew up in Meadowbrook with me in Ohioville. He was 3 houses down from my parents. His parents are. And so I've known DJ most of my life. And DJ has always been kind of like a big brother role model for me. In high school, he was probably about 5 or 6 years ahead of you. But at Western Beaver, such a small school, you idolize the athletes and the older classmates in front of you. And he just was such a good example for the younger students, and not only in sports, but in everything. And now, I mean, he's still a good example in the business world. So I always look up to DJ. He's a great man.
Now, in growing up, and he just being 3 doors down from you, did he ever let you hang out in the buses? Is there any crazy things going on in the buses on the property?
So ironically, they started the transportation. They had vans in the beginning, and then they bought the buses from my wife's grandmother, Jerry Shank. It was Shank Bus Company. And so it's funny how the world is so small and tied together, but I got to play around a little bit on the buses with DJ.
You ever get to drive one?
Never got to drive one. I don't have my CDL.
I'm sure being so close, you can work that out. So you played sports in high school?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Is that how your interest in chiropractic came about?
Actually, it is. My first kind of interest in chiropractic and kind of physical medicine itself is because of the sports injuries I've had and the time I spent in the trainer's office. Junior year, we made a really big run into the state playoffs in basketball, and I had a high ankle sprain. And I was willing to try anything to get back on that court. And so I was very thankful. The trainer at the time was Sean. I don't know if he's still there or not, but hi, Sean, if you're listening. And Sean was a great example for me and kind of got my feet wet into the world of physical medicine.
Right, because as an athlete, if you do get something, a high ankle sprain, that could put you out of service for a while.
Yeah, and there's no substitution for time. I've learned that not only through experience, but through school as well. But, there are things to help speed up the healing process. I mean, look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing with his Achilles right now. So it's amazing what the new studies and new science is showing for physical medicine. I think it's going in the right direction.
Back in those days in high school, and I think still today, they don't treat injuries the same way as the pros do. But if you had a high ankle sprain, they would probably tape that up pretty tightly.
Pretty tightly, and even if you could put weight on it. So it was not fun.
Okay, but that's what they did. How soon was, or what did a trainer do at the time? That interested you?
Not only the taping, it was the rehab process itself. The whirlpools, the ice baths, the kind of vibration therapies, the proprioception, relearning to gain balance on that ankle, kind of doing the all the steps to gain full use of that ankle again. That's what got my interest, is all those different steps in the process.
Yeah, but there were no manipulations of the spine?
No manipulations. I didn't get exposed to chiropractic until I was actually a freshman in college. I had a hip injury that caused a tremendous sciatica after a fall. And I actually went to Dr. Beverly Grabsky in industry here. Okay. So another Beaver County local. I love her to death, and she introduced me to chiropractic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So. And as far as the art, what do we call it? The physicality, or what do you say as far as chiropractic is concerned? Because we're not dealing with medicine.
No, that's a great way or a great question how you put that there. I like to say chiropractic is like a triangle. There's an art to it, the actual adjustment itself. That's a skill. It's an art that's learned. But there's science to it, and then the science behind the adjustment. What is the purpose of the manipulation, if you will, or the adjustment, as I like to call it? Are you trying to increase joint mobility? Are you trying to get the pressure off the nerve? Are you trying to reduce inflammation? So the science behind the adjustment is also important. But the third staple is, that is what I just kind of talked about, is that philosophy. How are you going to treat that patient, and how are you going to get them better over a lifetime? The money world, there's a fiduciary responsibility. Mm-hmm. I also feel that I have fiduciary responsibility over my patients. I have to make the choices best for them in their life to try to get them the best outcomes possible.
Yeah. It's interesting because, and chiropractic has come a long way over the years.
Absolutely.
And it used to be people who think, but they'll get you, and they just want you to keep coming back. They keep, you never really heal. They just want you to keep coming back time and time again.
Right. I deal with that a lot, that question. Any form of therapy takes time. I know we just talked about that. There's no substitution for time. So yes, if you're actively rehabbing something or actively trying to change the physiology of the body, one adjustment's probably not going to do a whole lot in the big picture. Yes, it can break up a fixation, but it's funny. Usually our bodies get to the way they are, and we're in pain because of what happens throughout the lifetime. Yes, I do see the sudden car accidents, the sudden falls and stuff like that, but a majority of my cases are actually, the unknown onsets of pain, from the desk posture or from, the prolonged sitting. So it takes time to make physical changes in the body. One salad will not make a diet. One day at the gym is not going to build a lot of muscle. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, one adjustment's not going to do it. But it's up to us as physicians and professionals to work with our clients to see what they need. What does their body require? What your body needs, Mike, or what your body needs, Mike, might not be what Eddie's body might need, or anyone else. So I like to work with my clients and kind of make a game plan based off of both of our goals here.
Yeah. Well, a half-hour show will not touch what my body needs at this particular point in time. But it's interesting, and physiology-wise, is it, the skeletal structure that we have, something we were born with? Is it something we inherited? Or is it the grind of everyday work or athletics?
So, it's a mix of all of that. There is some congenital aspects to it. What are we born with? If your grandmother and your mother have a scoliosis, there's a chance you might have a scoliosis. So you have to work with that. However, a scoliosis can get worse over time if, our posture is bad or if we're doing the wrong movements for it. So there is an acquired aspect as well. What we're doing all day, every day, how we're treating our bodies, that definitely makes a structural change as well. And you can see that evidence on X-ray.
Yeah. And when you talk about scoliosis and people with back issues, the last thing we've heard this forever, last thing anybody ever wants to do is have surgery.
Absolutely. And there's a time and place for everything. I'm a big advocate for that, but you definitely want to prevent the spinal surgery. Here's why. It is such a high traffic area, and your central nervous system is housed inside of that spine. There is no substitution for that. We can't do a spinal cord or a brain replacement in your body. So do not damage that if you can.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
And it's interesting, but sometimes it's the simplest of things. I can remember I used to have pain in my back, like a wing, as they would call it back there. And I would think, well, where did I get that? I didn't remember hitting anything, and I was active. And I do remember an injury, a football injury many years ago, and I felt that maybe I cracked something. And later on in life, it was there. Then I was helping my son move one day and moving this big cabinet, and the pain was like taking your breath away type pain.
Right.
Well, later on, I did go to a chiropractor, and he made some adjustments, and there was this one loud pop. And he said, that was your rib. Your rib was out. I said, what? My rib was out? How can my rib get out and it affect, the way I feel in my back? But that happens to people, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's because that rib is anchored to the thoracic spine, your middle back. So I'm sure with that rib being out, the thoracic spine was also out as well in there. And that very well can happen. And you mentioned something, you had that football injury way back, and you kind of dealt with little tightness, but then when you went to go use it to lift that cabinet, that's when that straw that broke the camel's back. Well, I would guess to say, there's no absolute knowledge to say this, but I would say that you probably threw that rib out prior to even trying to lift that cabinet. It was when you went to lift the cabinet that you noticed it. Then the pressure on the rib went, and then the whole body kind of broke down at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you went to a chiropractor, and I'm glad you got it put back in, because ribs can be nasty. It's probably the second worst thing I see in the office is rib discomfort or rib problems, the first being vertigo. No one likes vertigo.
Us mere mortals don't often make the connection between, you got a pain in the back that's really driving you crazy, that it could be a rib. I never made that association.
No, a lot of people don't, and that's the importance of us, again, as doctors, to take a good case history and play detective a little bit with our patients. I'm sure a lot of times with rib issues, coughing, sneezing, taking a deep breath, it might have caught you a bit there. You might have noticed that. That's usually a sign that there's something going on with the rib as well as the spine.
That is so funny. We're talking with Dr. Marcus Platts. He's a chiropractor, doctor of chiropractic medicine here in Beaver County. You're up on Dutch Ridge, or you're Tuscarawas?
I'm on Tuscarawas Road in the St. Barnabas Tusca Plaza.
Okay.
Yep, right next to
All right.
Tusca Pizzeria.
That's good. In terms of what we don't realize, and you mentioned somebody sneezes or somebody bends over to pick up a pencil, and all of a sudden their back seizes up on them, and I just picked up a pencil. I just sneezed. How could that happen?
It's so funny you say that, because I tell that person, did your back go out because that pencil was too heavy? or is it because there's something mechanically or structurally wrong in the spine? Is that why your back went out? That there's something structurally wrong. So it's not the pencil that threw out your back.
But that's what triggers, right?
Right. And then
you make
went to
that
go
movement.
use it. Right.
Wake up in the morning and this is hurting and that's hurting. And you think, I slept wrong last night. Or there are any number of reasons that we give for them. But through chiropractic, we learned that no, it's more intricate than that.
Right, and you have to take a deep look into it. Read the spine. What did you do days prior to going to bed last night? Did you do some yard work? Did you do some different things? So it's fun to play detective and get to know people a little bit.
Did you pick up your child or your grandchild? Right.
That's the case of my mom.
Yeah, right. You work on your mom too?
Absolutely.
Okay. So mom for all those.
Yep. Moms, grandmas out there. I help with those shoulders because I know you're always carrying a little one.
And speaking of carrying little ones and women, their pelvic bones get thrown out of whack over years.
Yes, I work with moms, not only moms but pregnant women, all through stages of pregnancy. Studies have shown it really helps with the success rate and the ease of delivery, natural childbirths. It makes sense. If your pelvis is in place properly and inflammation is out of the area, the joints can relax and open up like they're supposed to. So, childbirth can be as easy as possible. And then they can go back in place like they're supposed to too. So you have, less residual effects down the road, postpartum.
Okay. But this could linger on through your life into adult and seniors.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have seen moms that, their last kid was 10 years ago, but they're finally now it's become an issue where they can't even deal with it anymore. So it's amazing how different cases show up, I guess.
Yeah. Dr. Marcus Platts is our guest on the Best of Beaver County radio show. I'm Mike Romai, and we'll continue our conversation right after this.
I'm Patty.
And I'm Bob. We're retired, and we live at St. Barnabas in the Village.
We used to have a house.
Lived in it for 40 years.
Raised our kids.
But it became too much. The upkeep, the stairs.
Moving seemed like such a hassle. We didn't even know where to start, so we didn't.
Until we met Cindy at St. Barnabas.
She talked us through our options.
Yeah, and she helped us with our move and all the arrangements.
There was so much stuff. Who knew we had 3 fondue pots?
But she made it easy.
So easy.
Now we enjoy ourselves.
Golf, the pool, new friends, shuttles to where we want to go.
The pub and the food.
So good.
There wasn't a long-term commitment or any large fees.
And they have a healthcare system on campus with doctors if we need it. The kids really like that.
The kids like to come and eat with us.
There's an easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700.
Dr. Marcus Platts is our guest on the Best of Beaver County. I'm Mike Romai, and Dr. Platts is a chiropractor. And how long have you been in the business?
7 years. This is my 7th year of practice.
Okay.
Yep.
And is this your first office?
No. So I practice up in the North Hills at Choice Restorative Medicine. It's a great place. They do kind of it's an integrated practice, so they do kind of stem cells and PRP therapies as well. And I would still be there if it wasn't for wanting to move back home.
There's something about being back home.
There is something about being back home. But I practice also in Elwood and Cranberry for a bit too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Very
I've been
good.
around.
Is your wife from the area as well?
Yes, she also went to Western Beaver. She grew up on Tusca right here. So
These golden beavers with us.
That's right.
Today, right? Yeah, and you mentioned DJ, and DJ has talked about Pat Tarquinio and football in Western Beaver. You said he came in and coached with you for a while.
Yeah, my senior year, DJ came in, and it was a great year. We won the Big 7 championship, and DJ was such an influence just to work on. He would spend the one-on-one time with you. I remember we would just do. He worked specifically with the wide receivers and the defensive backs, and after practice we'd just do one-on-one pylon drills, just throw touchdown pylons, and just, he would make it so fun. So we were working hard, but we were having fun too.
And you played sports. You were a 3-sport athlete in high school, right?
I was, football, basketball, and baseball.
Now, you have a favorite?
Depends what time of year it is.
Okay, very good. You talked about playing at Rolling Acres, so you're a golfer too?
Yep. Unfortunately, I can't afford to hurt my hands or wrist anymore, so I had to pick up different sports.
Okay.
So,
when you're swinging the club, that could throw your back out.
It really tests my range of motion. I'm always self-analyzing my spine with the golf swing.
And so, obviously, when you're standing there on the tee and you're watching others tee off, you're thinking, that's going to hurt.
It's amazing. I can't shut off the chiropractic brain. I could be on the golf course. I can also be standing in line at the grocery store to check out, and I see, oh man, that guy's shoulder's high on the left. That posture is bad. I bet you I can help with that.
Oh, okay. So it's the healing hands,
the blessing and the curse. You're always analyzing.
You're standing behind somebody in the supermarket, and you go up and you want to touch them. So it's much more the massages, though, that we deal with.
Yes. We do help break up some of the myofascial adhesions there. But if you need an hour of focused massage, I'm going to send you to a massage therapist. That's what they specialize in. They definitely, there's a reason they're a specialty.
Yeah.
So I try to stay in my lane and do what I can do to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you need a half an hour to an hour of focused active rehab, I'll send you over to physical therapy. If you need massage therapy, I'll refer you to that. I like to use the whole healthcare team for my clients. I don't want to just say I'm the only answer and just me, or this person and just that. I think you should attack all problems with from a different multiple directions.
Marcus Platts is a Steeler fan, too, you see.
Absolutely.
Got the Steeler shirt. You can't see his golden black shoes. You go ahead, lift one up there. Look at that. Yeah. And Steeler socks, too. Wait a minute. Eddie's big in socks. Look at, so he's ready for the game. You going to the game, too?
No, I wish.
Okay.
Those are good socks there, right?
Very good. But, you were talking about a high ankle sprain just minutes ago. Kenny Pickett is out. And did he have surgery? He has to have surgery? Or what's the deal when you hear about stuff like that?
I'm so busy opening this practice, I haven't been in the media that much, but I heard that he was out, and I may have saw on social media. I don't know for sure if he had to get surgery or not, but did he? Okay. I'm assuming that was to get him back on the field as quickly as possible. I'm hoping for a quick recovery, and I'm sure he's in good hands there.
Yeah, Achilles tendons, ankle injuries. Oftentimes when you sprain your ankle, or high ankle sprain as they refer to some things nowadays, they said, it probably would have been better if you broke it, because, those sort of things will hurt you a lot longer.
Right, and it's because the ligaments, once they get stretched, they don't like to go back. They're almost like a silly putty. When you stretch silly putty, it doesn't go back. It stays stretched, where a rubber band would go back and more elastic. But ligaments aren't that way. And with ankle sprains, a lot of times you're working with the ligaments down there. The ATF is the most common one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Achilles and all that stuff. Is there anything in terms of chiropractic that can be done as a preventative measure?
Absolutely. And I do this in my office as well. When someone's on their feet a lot or participating in sports, the best thing you can do in anything is keep your joints mobile. A lot of times, tight muscles will actually lock down the joint, and then the joint won't function properly. And then when the joint won't move, well, then the ligament has to make up for the lack of movement, and then they get overstretched. Mm-hmm. So I always check when someone asks me to check the lower extremities. I'll go down the whole kinetic chain, the hip, the knee, the ankle, and all the way down into the toes, and make sure the joints are moving the way they're supposed to. Because if everything's moving properly, it's less likely to sprain or strain.
Yeah. And do you treat people of all ages?
I do. I adjusted my son when he was
17-month-old.
Yep, yeah. I adjusted him when he was on the weighing table, 36 minutes old. I think he was.
Goodness.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Well, very gently. It's not the same way I would adjust you, Mike. It's it's literally the poke of a pinky. That's all it takes. They have no stress.
Mm-hmm.
But they did just go through the stressful action of being birthed and the pulling out and the delivering. So that's a very stressful time for babies. So that's why it's also very important, because it's a violent thing. We're so gentle with newborns, but yet the birthing process is so violent that it's important to check kids. And a lot of times with early onsets of ear infections, colicky babies, tonsillitis, constipation, indigestion in kids, a lot of times it's something going on. And
Constipation? Huh?
It's amazing. And I'm sure if some of my...
I know a lot of people who have had children 2 years old and younger, whose children, they say, it's constipated, you can't go to the bathroom.
Well, A lot of times it has to do with the lower part of the spine, the lumbar spine and the sacral nerves. Down there, the parasympathetic, your rest and digest nervous system, that's where those nerves come from that fire there. Kids at that age are always running and falling, and they're plumping down on their butt. Well, it's very common for them to throw off their sacrum or their lower back and put pressure on those nerves.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because I get calls. My wife, and she has a big family, and there's a bunch of kids under the age of 2. And I'll randomly get the call that, hey, they're not going to the bathroom. Can you come over? and I go over there, I adjust the sacrum, and I go, okay, give it an hour. And they usually text me like, oh, we had a little explosion.
Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's amazing what chiropractic has, how it's progressed, especially with the extremes of ages. I've also adjusted my wife's grandmother, who is in the upper 80s. So it's gentle enough and safe enough to work on any age. But I also have to work on people built like a linebacker.
Yeah.
So it's up to the doctor to know how much force is necessary, I guess.
It's amazing because you talk about the spine and dealing with it, but all the nerves that run through the spinal system. I know there was a couple times where I had headaches on just one side, and I'm thinking, do I have an earache? Is it sinuses? What is it? So I went to, again, the chiropractor. And he made an adjustment for it. He said, well, these nerves come up the back of, from the spine, to come up here, and they put pressure on that.
Absolutely.
Who would've known?
The beauty of chiropractic isn't the pop, contrary to TikTok and all the social
that's
media.
What we like to hear. It's like
everyone wants to hear the pop
fingers.
right in the or the crack. The beauty of chiropractic lays in the nervous system, the underlying thing. What the spine surrounds and protects. The spine in your skull is so unique. Your central nervous system is the only organ in your whole body that is completely encapsulated by bone. Think about that.
Yeah.
So it is completely encased and protected. So how important is that system? Not even your heart or your lungs are protected by bone. They're protected a little bit by your rib cage, but that's the purpose of the rib cage, to protect your vitals. So, it's amazing how smart our bodies are designed, and any little pressure on that central nervous system can affect you. Yes, I see a lot of patients for neck and back pain, but you forget about the headache cases. You forget about the migraines. You forget about the indigestion, the constipation cases. I've helped people get pregnant who had trouble with that. So it's amazing how when you let the body communicate the way it's supposed to and get pressure off those nerves, how the body can heal itself and do what it's supposed to do and function.
It's amazing. We don't even think about it. And in chiropractic over the years, sometimes you were like the redheaded stepson in the medical industry, and people said, no, but it works well. And it sounds like just in the half hour we spent here this morning, you're educating us on it. And so I'm imagining you do that with your patients as well, telling them this is why this is happening.
The Latin root of the word doctor does not mean to heal. It means to teach. So I feel if I don't teach something every time a patient comes into the office, I'm not doing them a full service. So I try to at least teach them something to take care of themselves a little bit better, even if that's just, hey, after 20 minutes at the computer, look 20 minutes or 20 feet down the hall for 20 seconds and let your eyes relax. Just a little trick. Sometimes just that little tip can make a world of a difference.
And with our phones, and we're always looking down, we don't realize we're looking down and we're stretching.
Absolutely. Yeah, very common. Probably the most common thing I see.
Is that right nowadays?
Yep.
What do you call that? Is there a name for it?
A general term that is used across the industry is upper crossed syndrome.
Okay.
So basically your head...
That's all right.
Your head has gone forward and it's kind of stuck like this. Your shoulders are rolled forward. And you're stuck in that computer posture like this. So no, we need to get our back up straight, our shoulders back, and our chin. Believe it or not, you want to give yourself the ugly double chin.
Oh, no.
The double chin. But that's where your neck is supposed to be. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And in today's
You're supposed
world,
to be like that.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
But today's world, it's hard to maintain that position. We're either driving at a computer or on our phone, and everyone does it.
Dr. Marcus Platts, chiropractor. How's your practice coming along? Are you taking new patients?
I am taking new patients.
Okay.
I opened up for new patients on this past Monday.
Okay.
So this has been an exciting week for me. It's been fun. So feel free to call in.
What's the number?
724-201-7400, 7400.
Or find you online?
Yep,
Or?
you can find me online at mapchiropractic.com. That's MAP chiropractic.com.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Very educational to speak with you. Nice to talk with you, and continued success.
Oh, thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Dr. Marcus Platts, Chiropractic. I'm Mike Romai. It's the Best of Beaver County radio show on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver County.